Hello guys, it's Alan again. So today we're going to do the trial at the Sacred Castle. So we have to complete the quest, deal water damage and dark damage 3 times or more. Part of less companion included, defeat Alexander with the limit quest. So for this, we need at least 150% or 100% light resistance on all of our units, or at least 95%, either way, but please at least have 150% in total. So we're going to use the fish scale for the water elemental, just like that. And then let's see our equipment. As you can see, we're not using any 7-star units, and also this is our equipment. So for Lexa, this is our equipments, and then we have at least 100% light resistance, and then our next Lexa is, or our Minfilia has at least 100% light, and then a manufactured neticite, and then our Rosa also again has at least 90%, and then Wire of Light has 100%. So Wire of Light is perfect for this trial because it has a innate 100% light resistance. So, and also these are the equipment or the Espers we equip. So let's go. So first thing first, you will do a lot of light damage and then sometimes a non-elemental magic to all of our units, but it's okay, and also a physical light damage on all of our units. So for this, on the turn 1, we're going to use fish scale on both of our Lexa, and also for our Rosa, we're going to use again a fish scale to get that 3 water damage in one turn. And then we're going to use, for Wire of Light, we're just going to use Light is with us. For our Minfilia, we're going to use the Shining Guard, which give us at least 70% of light resistance for this. And then, as you can see, he does on turn 1 a 80% to negate damage, either physical or magical. So for this, we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to use, as you can see, it's physical and magic attacks. So we're going to use dual black magic, and then we're going to use Eroja for this trial, or for the until the 7th turn. And then we're going to use Bless just to get our MP, and also again Alexander will also do a AoE MP drain on your unit, so that's why we really need to have at least an MP regen to all of our units, especially for your tanks. And just like that, we all resisted the magics from Alexander. So until turn 7, we're going to just build up our Eroja during this time. And for this, we're going to, on turn 3, every third turn, he will do a dispel on one of our on all of our units. And just like that, we're going to use Mystic Charge just to build up our Mid Burst crystals. And for this, Alexander also can be debuffed with attack, magic, defense, and spirit. So for this, we're going to use usually both of the breaks. And there goes the with Wire of Light, which is deals a lot of damage, physical damage, single target, but it's also a at least non-elemental attacks. And then as you can see, we still got dispelled by Alexander, but that's okay. So we're going to use Eroja, and then also cover for our units because we got dispelled. So as you can see, we're going to use, for Rosa, we're going to use Bless again to regen or MP, and then we're just going to use sorry, arms eraser for the decreased magic or decreased damage coming from Alexander. So for this, again, until Lexa or until we got until turn 7, we're just going to endure all the damage that is coming from Alexander. And as you can see, we can manage it even though we only have at least 3000 HP on both of our Lexa, and or at least we have the highest HP, which is our Warrior Flight with a 6000 HP. As long as we have at least 150% light resistance, we can manage or we can endure all the attacks of Alexander. So we're nearing for the turn 7, and then as you can see, he dispelled us again, but it's okay. We are managing all of the damages that's coming from Alexander. So for this, another trial, just fair warning, Alexander has 300% resistance to light, so you're not going to use any light weapons or light elemental magic or physical to Alexander. And as you can see, we're now going to use Tornado Chain and then Eroja Finish until the end, because at turn 7 he will lose the 80% damage mitigation from both physical and magic. And as you can see, we don't receive any more damage, and sometimes even though the animation of Alexander is not yet finished, Warrior Flight is already using counter attacks. And for this, again, we're just going to use Bio every other turn for our Minfilia, because we need to at least deal another dark damage. So there is another way if you have a double, I forgot her name, or you can just use Dark Fina for this trial. She also has a dark magic, which, or dystopia, for you to chain with, but again it may be a lot more faster especially if you have a 7-star. So as you can see at turn 9, I'm just using Neticite, but again I think we're going to be dispelled, and just like that, as you can see, he returned, I think, the other Eroja. That's why we also need the manufactured Neticite, so that we could not be damaged by our own magic. And just like that. So for Warrior Flight, again, just physical cover to the whole party. And then again, the only problem here is that Lexa don't have any innate magic or innate SP or MP regen, so that's why we're going to use Osmos if we're losing a lot, or if we don't have that much of a MP for this trial. So next would be, we're going to, as you can see, we already did the 8 times magic or 8 times dark magic to Alexander, and we're going to use Tornado and Eroja Chain again, and just like that, we're dealing now at least, we are now at least 63% of his HP. So Alexander again have also a negative debuff or negative damage, negative resistance to dark, so you can use make advantage of that, wherein you will just use any dark magic or any dark weapons, especially for Dark Veritas, you can also use it and then chain with a dark elemental weapons. Sephiroth is also okay with this. And looks like that, and that's all. So the rotation of our flight will just be coffer and then both breaks for the armor eraser and also weapon eraser for that. And then we're just going to chain now with our Bahamut, just a little bit of more damage, and just like that we're now at 55% of its HP. And then again, every third turn you will be dispelled accordingly, even if you use net manufactured net sight, but you can negate the damages that can be reflected by Alexander. So again, we're just going to use Shining Guard. Don't forget that every turn or every time after Alexander dispels you, make sure that Warrior of Light and also Minfilia casted or your light elemental resist buffer will recast your light debuff or your light buff, so that you can just again be safe whenever Alexander will deal damage on your units. Because if you don't do it, your entire party will be wiped out, I think, especially if you're not using a high spirit and high HP units. So this actually the whole fight we're just going to use Erja finish and Tornado, and then Erja finish with both of our Lexa. And then Rosa, if we have her limit burst, we're going to Miracle of Baron for Rosa. And until the end, but as you can see, we need to finish Alexander with a limit burst. So what we're going to do when we are nearing on the HP of Alexander, we're going to use Erja Tornado and Erja finish, but on the middle of the casting of the Erja or the Tornado and Erja, we're going to click our Minfilia and Warrior Flight, which they both have a very long animation for the limit burst. So as you can see, we're now going to get the Miracle of Baron or the damage, and there's the Dispelga, Holy Bleed, there's the Holy. As you can see, we got our less wind damage because we got we got the Reflect from Alexander, and alongside with the Tornado or Eroja from Alexander. So we're going to use again, since he dispelled us, we're just going to use Shining Guard, and then Light is with us again. And for our Lexa and both of our Lexa, we're just going to use Tornado again and then Eroja. And let's see how much damage we dealt. So we're now at least 20% of its HP, which he spam us again with light magic and then light damages again, just like that. And let's see, there's too much of counters from our flight, but that's okay. At least we're feeling our limit burst. So we're going to buff our team now with Assault Order, and then we're going to use Bahamut and then we're going to break Alexander, and then for this we're going to use Summon Bahamut, and then after the animation we're going to click Lexa for the chain, just like that, and bang, we're now at least 4%. So next turn we're going to finish the trial, and I will show you how to finish the trial with a limit burst finish. So the trick is that as long as the boss is standing and then you click the limit burst or animation, even though you didn't you or the limit burst is hitting him with a 0% HP, it will be counted. So what we're going to do, I will show you the missions again. We have to complete a quest, fight our 5 last or less companion included. Defeat Alexander with a limit burst. So there's the Minfilia for the leader of the dawn. What we're going to do is we're going to click Lexa, and then in the middle of the training we're going to click Choir of Light and then Minfilia. As you can see, even though the HP of Alexander is still on 0%, we're still damaging Alexander with our limit burst, although you can't see it because he is immune to it. And we have our missions, and let's see if we got all the missions. And just like that. So yes, we have our missions, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Bye.